Hey, Marcus James here. If you're always on social media, I'm sure you've seen different posts and even statuses about human trafficking. But the fact of the matter is, how can one stand clear of that if it's everywhere? So today I'll have Nick Brown with me from the Hinds County Sheriff's Department in the studio to talk about different ways to keep yourself safe. Well, thank you so much, Nick Brown, for coming on the show today. I know we're here to talk about human trafficking. So let's introduce yourself first so people know who you are.
I'm Nick Brown. I'm a sergeant with Hinds County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. How many years have you been doing that?
Policing altogether or human trafficking?
You can do policing.
January's coming up, be 16 years, actually.
Okay, that's a pretty long time.
Yeah.
And then human trafficking?
Probably about the last 3 years, off and on.
Okay, awesome. So when we take a look at human trafficking, like we were talking earlier, you can look all on social media and it's everywhere.
Yes.
Let's talk human trafficking for a second. What is human trafficking? Human
trafficking at face value when it comes to the statute is the force, fraud, coercion of a individual into a, there's labor trafficking and sex trafficking. It's one of the two. We predominantly hear about sex trafficking because it's more prevalent, and that's what we deal with mostly with what I do.
Okay, and again, it's all on social media. Is there a stigma with it being on social media? Does it add like an extra hype to it just because it's on there?
I wouldn't say an extra hype, but it adds the availability for someone to get a story out. It's, you know, what used to be kind of in the shadows has now been forced into the spotlight because of social media and the availability of cell phones and, you know, just the different sites with cameras and the availability to get out there.
And so, you know, talking social media, back on that, you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because, you know, like you said, in the old days, people weren't able to just instantly put information out there. Now it's literally at your fingertips. If something goes on, it doesn't even have to be accurate. It's just put out there.
And in that regard, I would say it's probably it's a good and a bad. There's both sides. Good in the fact that when it is a true case, you can get it out there. And if somebody puts it out, hey, I saw this, and ends up being something, then we kind of have a way to track it. But you also have the other side of that where it could be a domestic issue. It could be something, you know, just a fight going on that somebody mistakes as an abduction into trafficking, and they post it and it goes viral.
So you're saying basically it's just a kind of misconception in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone from saying they saw something and they believe that's what it is, but just know that that's not 100% all the time a trafficking situation.
Gotcha, and I'm sure we've seen some cases here in Hinds County, big or small, but we've seen a few cases here in this area.
Actually, we've seen quite a few here, and it's because, one, we're the capital city, and all of our interstates are going to intersect here. So people traveling from Texas to Atlanta, from, you know, the coast to Memphis, we kind of intersect all that, and we're kind of the hub for that little, I guess call it a circle or a travel pattern for them.
Okay. Yeah, so again, looking at human trafficking, what are some things that people can do to keep themselves clear and safe so that they won't fall victim to that?
Predominantly, I would say, especially when it comes to your children, monitor their social media. And that's when you got back to the social media and the, you know, people posting, yes, people do get abducted. That is not a complete false, but they kind of ignore the fact that majority of it comes from children getting on social media, making friends with someone they don't know, or friends of friends, your chronic runaways, where they run away and they make a friend and they kind of get brought in that way. That's what we see more here.
Gotcha. So people just need to monitor social media.
Right.
And then if we're talking the physical being, what is some things that people can do to keep themselves safe of just trafficking in general?
I mean, again, just be aware of your surroundings, nothing different than anything else. Know where you're at, know, you know, I preach it to my family, and I know a lot of law enforcement does, have your escape route. If something happens, just kind of be aware. If you see someone in an area that you're commonly in that you don't know, you know, take a little bit more of a cautious approach to that.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much. That's all the time that we have. But thank you so much, Officer Nick Brown, for coming out today.
Yes, sir.
And you can follow this on our website at WJTV.com, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram to find more of our stories here on our talk show, Millennial Matters.